You're tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network, featuring news, interviews, and commentary on all things Black Hollywood. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live. Stand up, sit down, featuring in-depth discussion and interviews with stand-up comedians on the art of stand-up comedy. Black Hollywood Live. Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host for Black Hollywood Live, Stand Up, Sit Down.
All right. Welcome back to another exciting edition of Stand Up, Sit Down. I'm your host, Nick Perdue, and today I am joined with a legendary comedian, writer, actor. We got him live here in the studio, Mr. David A. Arnold. How are you?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. Glad to have you.
It's good to be here. It's
Yes,
really good
sir.
to be here.
Yes, sir. You are a busy man.
Yeah, it's about time. It's about time. Man.
That's good. That's good. So let's just jump right into it.
Sure.
Okay, so
Sure.
now let's just talk about your life before comedy.
Okay.
All right, so like growing up and the early years, were you a funny kid?
You know what? It's so funny. I think I was funny, but I was funny on accident. Like I was not the class clown.
Okay.
And I didn't know that until my first TV show that came on the air was Black Men Revealed when I hosted on TV One about 7 years ago. And then as soon as, people see you on TV, then all the people from school, from social network, they can find you. Yeah. And everybody always just say, oh, I remember you were so funny. And I don't remember being funny at all. Like I remember Douglas John and Ryan Adams were the two funniest guys in school that I ever knew.
Yeah.
So the answer is I was not the class clown, but from what my classmates say, I was always funny. But I think I was funny not trying to be funny. I think I was just kind of.
So it was just like a natural humor.
I guess so.
You would chime in every now and again and say
Right.
a couple funny things and people will laugh. Yeah.
Exactly. Or my answers would just be so wrong that it was just funny.
Paying attention, David? You paying attention?
Right. Exactly. I don't
So
know.
it's not science class. That's fun. So like what was the thing that made you want to pursue comedy? Like what was that catalyst that said, you know what, I'm gonna do stand up?
Two different things. One made me recognize stand-up was Eddie Murphy's Delirious, which I think I was probably 12 at the time.
Yeah.
And I was more impressed by the way my mother and my aunts were reacting to what he was saying, more so than what he was actually saying. And I remember just thinking to myself, he's just telling funny stories. I can tell funny stories,
Yeah.
And so that was always in the back of my mind. But I don't think it was until I saw D.L. Hughley do a stand-up special like the early 90s,
Yeah.
And I saw that and went, this is like a job that you can do. I had no idea, when you're 12, people are on the TV, they're not real.
Yeah.
But then when I got older, I was like, okay, this is something I could do. I was in the military at the time. And then when I got out the military, I decided to, start doing stand-up. And, so it was like two different moments. But, they both led to me going, I'm going to give this open mic night a shot and see what happens.
There you go. So now your first time ever on stage telling jokes, what was that like?
It was like being beaten in front of your classmates.
How much time did you do?
I probably did 5 or 3 minutes.
Okay.
It probably felt like 5 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
It was in Cleveland. It was at a club called Hilarities at the time.
Okay.
And I was probably 18 years old.
All right. So
And I was very young.
Yeah.
And it was so bad that I didn't go back on stage again until I was maybe 21.
Wow.
And then I did it one more time at the Improv in California on Melrose here in California.
Yeah.
And got one laugh, and then I didn't go back on stage again till I was till about 8 years later.
Wow.
Yeah, because I wanted to join the military, and and but what I always did is I always wrote things down. All the things that I thought were funny, I wrote down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was just, I don't know. It was just like it never goes the way you think it's gonna go in your head.
That's true.
It never, like, you know, what makes you want to do comedy is never what your experience. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, look at the way he's destroying.
Yeah.
And then you get up there and nobody's laughing. And it's like, this is not what happened on TV. This is not what I saw, you know.
But, and because what it is, I think, like people don't realize how hard it is until you get up there that first time. And then you're like, oh my God, this is like, you're like a deer in the headlights.
Yes, exactly. Because there's something about comedy that says that you have the audacity to walk on stage in front of people and say, I'm funny. Yeah. And I want to show you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so everybody has, you know, especially certain crowds have that. Yeah, okay, well then let's see. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's, you know, that's always a weird weird dynamic for a comedian. That's why I always love to see the new comics, because they're, you know, they're so nervous
and fresh. But you know, like the good thing about new comics is that once they get over that I'm scared, then they're just so full of energy and
carefree, just throwing it all against the wall and seeing, which is a great place to be. You know, because then, you know, when you've been doing it now as long as I have, then you get to a point where you sometimes overthink things sometimes. Yeah. You know what I mean? So but it's, you know, for the most part, it's like it's I love it.
Okay. So what is your worst show? You consider your worst show the first one?
Those, no, because those don't resonate with me like shows after you've had, you know, I think shows that are worse is probably like when you felt some success, like you've had some good sets and you made people laugh and then you bomb. Yeah. Like that's, you know, like the one time that I always tell people about is the one and only time that I really got booed or started to get booed. I was in San Diego performing down at a place called 4th and B, which is like this 3,000 seat venue. And I remember I wasn't on the show that night. A friend of mine was, Carl Banks. And I went down to see Carl perform because I was going to be performing the week after. Okay. So I just wanted to see what the room was going to be like. Yeah. And the host at the time was like, hey, you want to go out and just do a little quick set since you're here, you know? And I was like, yeah, I'll go out. So I go out on stage completely oblivious to what the crowd is. I start doing some jokes about going to church with my grandmother or something. Yeah. Like 2 minutes in, you start hearing going, you know, you got people make that noise like that. And I like blanked out. And I walked off stage. I was like, all right, I'm out. And I walked off and I came backstage and the host was like, what happened? I was like, they started to boo me. She's like, what? And I told my friend, I was like, I'm not doing the show next week. Oh, wow. I said, because I'm not going to get booed, you know? Yeah. And he was like, you have to. And I was like, why do I have to? He said, because you're going to see this crowd again. Yeah. And if you think that there's a certain demographic or a certain type of crowd that you are afraid of, every time you face that crowd, they'll always have power over you. Yeah. So all that week, I wrote a new set. I made it edgier. I went and worked it out, and I went back the same week, and I destroyed. There you go. I'll never forget that, because an old lady came up to me after the show. She said, baby, I was here last week when they booed you, and you came back and redeemed yourself. I'll never forget that. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I sure did. You were good. So because that's so funny, because the night I got booed, when the show was over, they're passing out flyers for the show next week, and it's my picture's on there. And they're getting flyers like, isn't this the guy we just booed? We're not coming back here. Get the hell out of here. So, you know, that was probably one of my low points on stage that particular night.
And see, that's the beautiful thing about comedy, though, is that if you have a bad or an off night, like you can always redeem yourself. You know, you can always go up literally like the next night or like within the next week and redeem yourself. Yes. You know, because like, you know you're funny. These people just don't know you're funny. Right. So best show. So up till now, what do you consider your best show that you have? Like standing ovation, like.
I mean, I don't think I've had my best show. Still, okay. I've had some great shows. I think what I will consider to be a best show is when it's done at the right time in front of the right people, and I get the right results out of it. I've had some great shows that nobody has seen. I've gotten standing ovations where nobody who's in the room can do anything to change your career or help you. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, it's so relevant to say what's your best show. I would like to think that I haven't had my best show. Have I had some good shows? I've had some great shows. Standing ovations more than I can count. You know what I mean? But it's not what I consider my best show yet. My best show everybody will see.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
that's how I look at it. Because it's like I'm always constantly trying to do better, move to the next level, and keep working. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a marathon.
Yeah.
I've been doing stand-up 18 years now, and still most people don't know who I am. Which, if I fixate on that, it can frustrate me.
That's true.
So therefore, I always say when people ask me that, because I've had people ask me, what's your best show? I'm like, I haven't had my best show yet, but I've had some good shows.
Yeah.
I've had some really, I've had some moments.
Yeah, where you especially in the moment when you're like, okay, I'm really killing it
Right.
now.
There's been
Like,
times when I'm killing
really
it, and I'm like,
right
I can't
now.
believe I'm not a star. This is ridiculous.
Exactly. These
This
people
is absolutely
know who I
ridiculous.
am.
Right, exactly. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a rough business, man.
Yeah.
It's a rough business. You
But-
gotta love it.
What's also nice too, speaking about great shows, is that when you're like in the groove and when you're really in the moment, it's almost like anything you say is funny.
It's like that night, and you might be too young to remember this, but they talk about it, when Michael Jordan was just wide open and he was hitting. I think he was playing, I can't remember who he was playing. I think he was playing the Phoenix, but he was hitting everything. And it's that famous picture where he just does like this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
It's that night where he couldn't miss.
Yeah.
The rim was just, I've had those nights on stage where you're killing so bad that you're telling the audience, okay, stop. It's not that funny. You know what I mean? Like it's that, what I mean? It's like being in a bed with a woman that's doing too much. It's like, all right. I'm not that good. Just stop it. Right. Just tone it down. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you don't believe anything. Yeah. But you have those nights. Those are great nights.
Exactly.
Those are the nights that you use to offset the nights when, when nobody laughs. It's at the point in my career now that when I'm on stage and I'm not getting the laughs that I'm used to getting, that becomes funny to me. Like if I'm on stage and it's not working out, then I start to laugh to myself. I'm like, I can't believe that. Like nothing is working. You know what I mean? And like before we be panicked, you'd be panicked, like, oh God, what next? Now it's like, I can't believe this is happening. Again.
Like all these jokes they don't get. I don't understand.
I get it, right? What's wrong with you people? Exactly, so
Now let's talk about your joke writing process because I know we were talking earlier and so you write a lot of jokes. So kind of like walk us through how you sit down and like pen out a joke.
I probably don't sit down and pen out a joke. What I do is I live life, and as it happens, I take it to the stage. Now, what I'll probably do is on my phone now, I might talk in my phone and give some bullet points, or I might text myself.
Okay.
Some ideas like last week I was in Cleveland, that's where I'm from, and I was with my dad and my stepmother, and we went to the movies, and it was just one of the most ridiculous events that, and I just, as we were riding in the car, I was texting to myself, like the things they were saying, you know what I mean? My father was doing 8 miles an hour, and he's a professional race car driver, which is what kills me, right? He does like 180 at the Indianapolis 500. We're going to the movies, he's doing 8. And I'm texting, my mother has the dogs in the car. It's just, I'm like, who are these people? And so what I do is I take an experience, I write these bullet points down, then I go on stage and I just tell the story.
Yeah.
Without trying to put it into setup, delivery, punchline, without trying to put it in that format, I just tell the stories.
Yeah.
And I just get used to telling the story. And then as I keep telling the story over and over, on stage, it'll start to shave itself away. The things that get laughs, I'll repeat those. Then after I've done that a few times, then I'll sit down. And then I'll start to take the pieces of the puzzle and move them around so that they fall in a certain order.
Yeah.
Or I'll get on the phone with Chris Spencer or Kevin Hart and call them on the phone and be like, hey, listen, this is what I got. Tell me, I know it's here. It's all here. I just don't know where. Yeah. And then we will do that. And then I'll have something that I'll have like a map now, if you will, of this story. Then I'll go up and try to do it this way because I need my jokes to be conversational.
Yeah.
And to feel natural, like we're just talking. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how I want people to feel when I'm on stage talking to them. I want them to feel. So that's really my process. I never go home and go, you know what, I haven't written in a week. I'm gonna write. And then, I never do that. I write by what inspires me. When life in a moment and something happens, I go, that's funny.
Yeah.
And immediately I text or type or talk or whatever I got to do, and then I take it right to the stage, and I just start talking about it. Yeah.
Now, do you still do open mics?
No, very seldom. I mean, no. I mean, like, I don't. What do you mean? Like, go and sign up?
Well, I mean, okay, like if there's a room, right, with other comedians, and like you go and just just try and work out some, because like Marty's for example.
No, I don't go to Marty's.
Okay, well, yeah, because like Marty's, it's a room full of comics,
right.
And like it's a good workout room,
right?
Because
a lot of my students go to Marty's.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Yes. No, I don't. I guess the answer would be no. I don't go to open mics, but I have a funny open mic story. Okay. I was in Atlanta about a couple of months ago, and I was there writing because I write for the Ricky Smiley Show, which is on TV1. And I was there, and I just booked. I just gotten word that I had booked the Conan O'Brien show to do stand up, right? And they wanted to see. They gave me some notes on my set. And they wanted to see me address these notes and just redo this set, and move some stuff around. 4 minutes 50 seconds. I said, cool. So I go down to a comedy club in Atlanta, and it's open mic.
Okay.
So I go there and I'm like, hey, what's up, dude? I can't remember the guy's name. I was like, Rodney Perry, or I think Robin Henry, who are friends of mine who live in Atlanta that are comedians. And they said, they told me to come down and, I need to get on stage because I'm doing Conan, yada, yada. And I could tell the dude, little young kid, giving a little resistance, a little, everybody thinks that they think there's somebody who comes from LA. You can just walk in here and, and I'm like, listen, dude. So I go in, I said, well, listen, I'm just going to hang out. I watch a few of the comics. Well, we got a list of 17 comics. I said, that's fine. I said, I just, I need to do this. So long story short, I sit, watch a few of the comics. After about 5 comics, I can't take it anymore. Right. So I'm like, listen, I go backstage and I say, I need to, I need to get on stage. And he's like, well, I said, dude, I'm doing this for Conan O'Brien. He's like, well, a lot of people come in here and say, I said, listen, what I need you to do is to get your mind outside of this little club here in Atlanta and go on a national, bigger stage, okay? Yeah. And I was basically, it was like, well, I don't care about credits. I was like, well, you don't care about credits because you have no credits. So only people who have no credits say don't care about credits. Yeah. And long story short, I guess when I got up from the back of the room to go to backstage, the comedians in the room saw me because they didn't know I was there. You don't know people are in the room till they stand up. Yeah. Next thing you know, like 9 comedians come to the back. You going up, Dave? Dave, because he had no idea who I was. Yeah. A girl came back. She wanted to take a picture. Her mother was there. Can you take a picture of my mother? Yeah. So this guy is slowly deflating. Like, how come I don't know who the hell this guy is? Right? And then finally, I just looked at him. I'm like, dude, I didn't want to come in here and be like, yeah, I'm so-and-so from this and that. Yeah. I didn't want to do that. Yeah. I just wanted you to put me on stage. I ended up going on stage. I had a great set, a great, and, so that was my last open mic experience.
So basically, you just flexed on him a little bit. I mean, but you had to.
What's funny is I was going to, but I didn't have to because
everybody else did. Yeah.
That's the ironic part about it. Because if they hadn't walked in, I probably would have. Yeah. But I didn't because they walked in like a rush of them. Yeah. Came in at the side, And I don't want to be that.
You don't want to be that guy.
I don't. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I said that. I said, listen, I really don't want to be that guy. You know what I mean? So, I mean, no, the answer is, do I do open mics? No, I'm at the point now that I can pretty much walk in any club, any given night, Saturday, and outside of a celebrity, I can pretty much go on stage. And like if there's a celebrity waiting in the wings to go up, but pretty much I can go in Friday night, Saturday night at the Laugh Factory on Sunset. Jamie Masato put me on the Comedy Store, anywhere. So I don't really do open mics. I just... When I want to work, I go to the Comedy Union. I work the Ha Ha. I work at So I've been here long enough that that I can just walk in and work. You know what I'm saying? So,
excuse me.
Your time is coming.
But now, let me ask you this though. For the rest of us who can't just walk in and work, and who have been bumped, right? Yes. Because I'm pretty sure you've been bumped. Who have you been bumped by, and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that so and so just bumped me.
Eddie Griffin used to bump me a lot when I first started doing stand-up. When I first came to the Comedy Store. The Comedy Store was the first club I ever got picked up at. Okay. And I was always late on the list because the Comedy Store is the only club that does comedians till 2 a.m. Yeah. And so I was always 12:30 or after when I first got picked up. And I'll tell you a story about that too. But Eddie Griffin would always. I remember I was supposed to go up one night at like 12:30, or no. I was supposed to go up at 12:30. Eddie Griffin walked in the club at 10 o'clock. He stayed on till 2 in the morning. Yes.
4 hours? He was on stage for 4 hours.
Yes, till 2 in the morning.
Talking about what?
I don't know. Everything. Everything. I've been on stage after Eddie has done 4.5 hours.
But that's too long. That's like, how do you even do that? I don't even understand.
That is the beauty of it. Like, I've seen Dave Chappelle do it. The one night Dave Chappelle did 8 hours at the Laugh Factory. I don't know. It went on the news. I brought him on stage that night. Yeah. He was at Chocolate Sundays when I used to host Chocolate Sundays. I brought him on stage at 11 o'clock. He was done. No, at 10 o'clock, he was done at 6 in the morning.
Who was still in the club then?
About 25 people. It started with 300. When the time he got off at 6 in the morning, it was like 25 people there.
That was like a full-time job.
Yes. And the thing about it is, it's not so much about it being funny, but to have the wherewithal to be able to stay there for 8 hours is just amazing to me.
And no lunch break.
No lunch break. No lunch break. He didn't go off to pee, nothing. He just smoked a pack of cigarettes and sat there. And so, I mean, I've been bumped by Eddie Griffin. I've been bumped by, I've been bumped by, anybody. I'm trying to think. Eddie Griffin, Chris Tucker, Cat Williams, Jerry Seinfeld, Tom Arnold.
Yeah, so just...
because I'm at, Dane Cook. It's been, whoever's the person that walks in the room when you're about to go up, it's like, hey man, so-and-so came in. And you're like, and what do you say? Chris Rock? It's like, you can't say anything.
Yeah, but like there have been times where I've asked the celebrity come in, because if I was next, I'm next. I'm like, all I got is 7 minutes. Just, I'm like, do you mind if I just do my quick 7?
Right.
Get them really good for you, and then work, and then like, you come out and do whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I remember Chris D'Elia, he allowed me to go.
Chris is a good friend of mine.
Right. Like it was the
Where
host
were you at?
of
What
the
club?
I was at the Comedy Store.
Okay. Yeah.
And so it was the host, and then it's like I was next, and then Chris walks in, right?
Right.
And then he was like, I'm gonna put Chris up next. I'm like, I'm like, Chris, let me just go. He's like, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Do my 7. Got him rolling. He comes in, does his 10, 15 or whatever. Really gets it going. Meets me in the back of the club. He was like, dude, that was great. Right. And I'm looking at him like, you just killed. And he was like, dude, that was great.
Yeah, that's a great feeling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Most of the time they will let you go. Yeah. And when I got bumped, it was when people didn't know me. Now, like I've been in a room and I'm about to go up and Kevin Hart comes in. And Kevin is not gonna bump me just because we're friends. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, let Dave, it's like, because I'm a vet now, and even though I'm not a celebrity, I've been around long enough that most of the guys won't bump me. They'll be like, David said, Dane Cook is like, man, go, do your thing. I'll go after you. Chris, all of them. But there's been times when I didn't know them and I've been bumped. That's a part of it. Now, I'm not a celebrity, but I bump people. At the clubs, because if it's a comic that is not as strong as, and if I come, there's been times when I wanted to work something out and I come to a club and I'm like, can I just go up? And they're like, well, so-and-so's next. I'm like, all right, well, then I'll just come up. My answer is, all right, I'll just come back tomorrow. I'll go and come up another day. And they're like, no, but we want you to go up. And I'm like, then I got to go now. Because I got to go. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Then it's that thing. So, and I'm sure people have, I'm sure it's very frustrating getting bumped by somebody who's not a celebrity. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's very frustrating because people are like, who the hell is that?
But you go on and get laughs. So, because it's like getting bumped, it's kind of like if they extend their time, then it's like, okay, then it gets frustrating. But if they're on stage killing it, it's like, okay.
Yeah, and most of the time, very few people go up and that bump you and do an hour.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen, but that doesn't happen. Most of the time it's 15, 20 minutes and then they're done. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a part of the game, man.
That's true. So now, when you were first starting out, who were you looking up to comic-wise?
Jerry Seinfeld. When I first started doing stand-up.
Jerry
Seinfeld, D.L. Hughley.
Okay.
When I first started. Richard Pryor's always just been, like the god of comedy. That's Bill Cosby for so many different reasons. Those were people that were not obtainable. You know what I mean? Those are people I just saw until I met Jerry Seinfeld, but those were people that you just saw in the TV set. Yeah. But they still, inspired me for whatever reason. Those are the people I looked up to. when I first started doing stand-up. And then when I first came out here and I started meeting the people that I looked up to, that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, and then then you get to the point where then the people that you look up to, then you realize I'm just as good as they are.
Yeah.
Then that happens.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's the beautiful thing is because like they are these celebrities and they are like these real big players, but you know, like it's the same medium, you know, like we all have the same tool, the same gift. And really, if you're funny, you know, if you're legitimately funny, right? You know, and if they see, okay, you know, they're like, okay,
that's the best.
David's,
that's the best.
You know.
When you get a comic to say, man, you're dude. Yeah. Like when I saw Robert Townsend come up to me and go, dude. When Damon Wayans stopped me, it was like, man, like those moments are moments that just make you go, that's it. You know, I remember Earthquake told me, that was one of my other he used to own a comedy club in Atlanta. I had just been doing stand-up maybe a year and a half, and I went and did his room, and it was just barely okay. I barely got out of the set. And I just remember him being on stage talking about me, making fun of me afterwards, you know. And I remember standing in the back of the room, and you have to just take it. It's like, I worked with him. This might be 2 years ago. We were on the show, and I came off stage, and he was like, dude, and he's on stage going, you are a genius. And I'm sitting there going, wow, I remember 14 years ago.
when you just beat me to shreds on stage.
I mean, and I needed it. 14 years later, Earthquake says, you know, God, man, you're a genius. So, you know, if you stay in it and you work your craft, it'll come full circle. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, speaking of, you know, working the craft.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about, before we really get into it, let's talk about internet comedians versus stand-up, like traditional stand-up comedians. Because, you know, Twitter, Facebook, and these little memes and stuff like that has people thinking that they're hilarious. Right. You know, versus, you know, people who get on stage day in, day out, week in, week out, and, you know, don't have that delete button.
Right. That edit button.
You know? Yeah. So how do you feel about the internet comedians versus the traditional stand-up comedians?
Who's an internet comedian?
There's a lot of people on Twitter. I'm not going to shout them out and give them any airtime, but you know, there's a lot of people on Twitter who, you know, say funny stuff or whatever,
and they kill.
Steal tweets, and kill.
Well, that's true
because the tweet is funny.
Yeah, I know, because I do know a couple of comedians that were booked on a couple of tours because they had so many Twitter followers, and they were killing. And then they get on stage and it's, you know, it's funny. Yeah. This is the thing. Stand-up is a completely different muscle. Stand-up is not done in 160 characters. Yeah. Stand-up is done in an hour and 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? A real stand-up. You know, like, I mean, when you're doing a real set is not even 20 minutes. I've seen guys kill for 20 and then they fizz out and they have nothing, you know. The difference between an internet comic or, you know, funny person and a stand-up is that, you know, the internet comedian is probably not going to be able to sustain an audience's attention for a long period of time as a seasoned comedian will. You know what I mean? That's just, and time will tell, and people will get fooled and book a guy off of his tweets. His tweets are hilarious, you know what I mean? And they'll book him and give him a bunch of money, and he'll get out there, and in 30 minutes, 20 minutes in, they'll realize this guy has nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it's, you know, it's the difference of, you know, buying a cheap pair of shoes and buying a good pair of shoes. Good pair of shoes, they might cost you more, but they're gonna last you much longer. Yeah. You're gonna go through 9 pair of cheap shoes before you wear out that one good one. So that's what I think about internet comedians, or you know, whoever you guys are out there killing on Twitter.
Killing the Twitter sphere, right?
Right, yeah, you're killing Twitter. You know, my Twitter's blowing up. All right, well, good for you.
So okay, now let's talk about, because you do write. You write for plenty of shows. You write for the Ricky Smiley Show, The House of Pain, Meet the Browns. You know, so
wrote for Meet the Browns. I wrote. I have a show on right now on OWN with Kim Whitley called Raising Whitley. Okay. You know, I wrote that. I wrote Tony. I've written a bunch of shows.
So how did you even get into the writing, the TV writing aspect?
Always written. Even when I first started doing stand-up, when I was an open mic, I guess for all intent and purposes, an open mic comedian, I always wrote stories, ideas, sketches, things. I always did that because I've always known that what I wanted to do was sitcom. Some people know that's my thing, you know. Yeah. Like Chris Spencer's a good friend of mine, and Chris says I'm his favorite sitcom. Like my life. He said, you live your life in 22 minute increments. That's what he said. He told me this last night. And I've always written. I started in like 2005. I think I want to say it was around then. I wrote and directed and starred in 3 different short films that year that I wrote and I put out, and I won a bunch of awards in a bunch of different film festivals. So I always have written, you know what I mean? I've always, because I'm the guy that stand up, I love doing stand up, but I have so many other things that, you know, I want to do that I have to get them out in different ways. So I write. So I've always written. And then I was called, you know, to write. I wrote some sketches on Tony Rock. He had a couple of TV shows, and I wrote on both of those shows. And I met a guy on one of those shows named Anthony Hill, who was a seasoned television writer as I am a comedian. And we vibed, and we really vibed. And he was like, man, the next time I do something, you should come write a TV show. And I never thought about writing, like writing on a staff for a show. Yeah. That never was my goal, never. Yeah. You know, my goal is to do my own show. And so I was like, all right, you know, and then he ended up landing the job as the head writer at Tyler Perry Studios. And the day he got it, he called me and was like, hey man, can you write a script? They want to see something. So I went and tucked away in a room for like 2 days, and I wrote out this script. They bought it, they hired me, and that was 5 years ago. And since then, I've written probably over 200 episodes of television. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, now I'm getting ready to start another one. So it's just, it happened by me not trying to do it. Because I'm sure there's a lot of people who will be watching this going, that's all I want to do is write TV. And it's not, it has never been my goal. It's just been something that I can do, so I do it, you know, and they give me a lot of money to do it. And I almost feel bad.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like, I feel that if you just do the activity, you know, and like don't focus on the result, but if you just focus on the activity, it's gonna come.
That's right.
You know, because you say you've been writing since, you know,
forever.
Before that, So you know, and I mean, like that was the end goal. But if you just focus on the activity, if you keep doing it, it's eventually gonna manifest itself into
something.
Yeah.
And it might not
know.
Exactly. You might not know what it's going to be.
Yeah.
But it's going to be something. And that's the truth, you know. And like the great part for me now is writing all this time. What it did, because I ended up landing a role on Meet the Browns as a reoccurring character on the show. So I did a bunch of shows. But I realized that writing for so long, it made me a better actor. Yeah. Because now I know how to look at a script and break it down even better. And I know how to find jokes in it that most people can't find, because I know what a writer's mentality is now. Yeah. That's the killer part for writers. When an actor can come in and pull something off the page and find funny in something that they didn't even know there was funny in. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's, you know, it's made me better in a lot of ways. And, you know, and I've enjoyed it. I mean, I'm enjoying the process. You know what I'm saying? I really am. I'm just going with the process. Like Larry David, man. Yeah. You know, Larry David wrote Seinfeld for a long time, you know what I mean, before he got a chance to do his own thing. So that's how I look at it, you know what I mean? Yeah. Absolutely.
And so now let's talk about this new project that you have with for Kelsey Grammer, correct?
Kelsey Grammer and Martin Lawrence.
And it's going to be on FX.
Yep, the FX network. They're starring in it. It's like an Odd Couple type show. 2 lawyers working together. And one is scrupulous and one has morals. And Kelsey's the scrupulous one, and Martin is the one with the morals, and they need each other to, you know, so we're doing what they call a 1090. We're going to do 10, and if it gets the numbers, then we'll do 90 of them on the back end, which is kind of like what they call in the Tyler Perry model, which is really Debmar Mercury, the company that did it for Tyler. So they're doing it. Charlie Sheen did it with anger management. And once Tyler did it since 2006, and nobody recognized it.
Yeah, because he's like Tyler Perry. Like he's basically like TBS was like his network.
Yes,
like
forever. You know what I mean? Until he went to OWN. But like I just realized what was funny to me is that how Hollywood did not recognize this format that he had done since 2006. And had done a lot of television. It did not become legitimized until white dude did it. Until Charlie Sheen did it. Now all of a sudden, now Charlie Sheen did it. Now George Lopez has it. Now Kelsey Grammer and Martin. Now NBC just gave Roseanne Barr her one. Now the major network is doing a 10-9. But, you know, for 7 years, this guy made $600 million doing House of Pain and Meet the Browns, whether you like it or not. I mean, I'm not a fan of, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a fan of that style of humor. Yeah. It's not, I mean, that style of humor is the complete opposite of what I do. Yeah. I had to learn how to write that. You know what I mean? But it's like being a comedian and knowing you're working in a room and go, these people only want to hear about this, this, and this, and I really don't do that. But I'm getting paid to be here, so I'm gonna get the people what they want. Exactly. That's what I had to learn to do at Tyler Perry Studios. But I recognize that it was not legitimized until mainstream Hollywood did it.
Yeah.
Which, we have to say mainstream. I probably shouldn't say white, but that's what it is. It's white.
I mean, yeah, as
That's what
long
it is.
as the check's still cleared.
Oh yeah, they all clear.
They've been as clear. Long as they clear,
yeah, they all clear. Yeah, exactly. So but it's a journey, and I'm enjoying the journey.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm making money, making people laugh, sitting around
doing what you love.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I'll never. Everybody, I think a lot of people thought that I would stop doing stand up because I started getting success writing television, and making money doing. And it's like the more I write television, the more I realize how much I love doing stand up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it'll never stop.
Well, and because there's a freedom with stand up that because writing it's so structured, and you got to stay within like the confines.
And you got to get the notes from the networks and what they say you can say. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can only do so much. And like stand up, I believe is probably like one of the only like last true freedoms of expression.
That's right.
To where you can say literally whatever you want to say.
That's right.
Without being censored.
That's right. That's exactly it.
And that's why, because like I get upset when you hear about these comics like the Tracy Morgans and them apologizing for jokes that they do on stage.
Because it affects your money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it is. When it starts to, when you say things and it goes out and then the world it affects your money. It affects if you're sponsored by somebody, then that comment can cost you $1 million. So then you got to go and apologize, whether you mean it or not. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right now, when everything you say is not connected to any money at all, then you don't care.
Yeah.
But the moment it becomes connected to money, then all of a sudden you gotta kind of like not say midget.
Little people.
Little people. It's little people.
It's
little asses.
It's little people.
It's not midget.
So, and you also run this comedy workshop, this comedy class.
Yeah.
That is the largest one in the nation.
Yeah, it's pretty big. I didn't know that until my assistant told me. I had no, like she called me one day and she went, do you know you have like 295 people on your waiting list to do this class? And I was like, no, I had no idea. You know what I mean? And she's like, I just thought you should know that, people are really wanting to
go about your day.
Right, exactly. Just go back to whatever you're doing. I just want you to know that 295 people are waiting to take this class from you. And I think I've been doing the class 5 years. I'm getting ready to start another one here in about 2 weeks, as soon as I get back from some dates I have to do. And it started because I am a true fan of the art of stand-up comedy. That's the name of my class, the art of stand-up comedy. And I'm a fan of the art, and I wish that somebody would have been willing to tell me the things that I tell to the new comics. I work with comedians from 10 years down to 0 days that have come and work with me. I do it because I'm a comedian. Yeah. And I want to see people, it's not about teaching you how to be funny. I can't do that.
No.
You know what I mean? It's like if you're going to take dance lessons, the purpose is not to teach you rhythm. The purpose is to teach you technique. Yeah. And that's what we do. It's more of technique. It's more of writing structure. It's more of work habits is what it is. It's really instilling work habits. And a lot of people do great. A lot of people, more than not, never do it again. Or I never see them on stage. But, I mean, if you name off some of the funniest young comics that you know right now, I'll probably say 8 out of 10 of them are taking my class. And I'm not saying that that's why they're funny. I'm just saying that, it's been great to work with some of these guys who I've seen, like Tony Baker, to see Tony Baker.
Tony's
who's and like when he came to take my class, it was pressure on me, like, how am I gonna help this dude? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's a lot of people that I've worked with in that. Raina Amaya, who's a little young, she's very funny.
My God.
You know what I'm saying? There's so many comedians that I've worked with that are funny already. And you just get a chance they made me better. So the class is, it's a great class. I enjoy it. I do it when I can. If I'm in town, I'll do it back to back. But when I'm out of town, I can't do it. I was doing it online, working with people online as well. Okay. And it's just turned into like this thing.
It's a phenomenon.
Yeah, this thing. Like, we're actually out pitching a reality show based on the class now. So it's like it's really turned into this thing. And I think it's probably because the motive behind doing the class was genuine. Yeah. It was not about money or trying to get, it's about really trying to help these comics that really want to learn, try to find their voice or try to get the technique down, you know what I'm saying? Because, seasoned actors still take
classes. Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that,
As long as you keep growing. And that's the thing. Because there's a lot of comedians. Like this is especially what I learned living in LA.
I didn't realize that.
There's a lot of comedians.
Until I started teaching classes. I didn't know that.
And then there's a lot of people who think that they're funny.
Yes.
You know,
now
'cause
that I
there's
know.
comedians, people who think that they're funny, and there's people who are actually funny.
Right.
And there's people who work on their craft to become funny, and there's people who are like, you know, still actively funny or working on the craft and are hilarious.
Yes.
You
That's
know?
right.
And so, you know, really like the good people just, you know, like
You rise to the top.
Yeah.
Cream rises to the top.
Yeah.
That's why you have to. That's why I always tell people this stand-up thing. If you want to do this, it's a marathon.
Yeah.
It's not a 50-yard dash. Pace yourself. Enjoy what you're doing. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And me and Chris Spencer were on the phone talking one day, and he said, "What else am I gonna do? What else are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Nothing. We're gonna go get. I'm gonna go back to. I used to be a nurse. I'm gonna go back to being a nurse. I'm unemployable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm completely unemployable at this point in my life, outside of what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, you just learn how to roll with it. You
Navigate
really do.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, man, and it's great. I love it.
So now give us your best advice that you've given either at class or you told someone one-on-one, you know, something that you're like, okay, like this
That's gonna cost you.
is what for like
One of the
new comedians starting out.
One of the things that I which I said to you is just now is that it's a marathon.
Yeah.
That it really is. One of the other things is that if you're serious about doing this, then you know you need to be on stage every day,
Yeah.
as many days as you can.
Yeah.
There are no excuses.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a job. I had a job. I've been doing stand-up 18 years. For 8 of those years, or no, 10 of those years, I had a full-time job where I ran a family practice clinic as a nurse.
Wow.
So I have kids. I'm married. I have a whole lot of life going on.
Yeah.
None of that is excuse. If you want to do it, then you do it. My advice is that if you do it, surround yourself by people who are serious. Don't look to do it and look for the approval and support of anybody either. Because you're not going to get it, probably. You get false support. People at your job going, oh, you're doing comedy. And then the moment you start really being serious and they see you got a dream in your eye, and they're like only waiting for their 2-week check and their how many ever days they accumulate to be off, they're going to start hating on you. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like I tell people, keep your dream close to your heart. Stay focused. You know what I mean? Write down everything that you think is funny and take it to the stage. Go to the stage and do not be afraid to just lay it out there. That's the thing. Because if you know, when the moment you can eliminate that fear of, I wonder if they're gonna laugh. The moment you lose that and you become fearless, that's when you start to grow.
Yeah.
I told my daughter I'm teaching her how to ride a bike. She's afraid to fall.
Yeah.
But it's like it's not until you're not afraid to fall or you fall that you start to ride.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's it. As a comic, you got to be afraid to like, oh, they're gonna boo me or they're not gonna laugh. So what? None of them have talent. None of them.
Yeah.
They're just waiting to drink their little drinks and go get up and go to work in the morning. You have no talent.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You're losing here. Whether I'm funny or not, I'm better than you. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So like,
You're gonna get these jokes.
Exactly. So, you know, the moment you empower that, that's when you start to grow as a comic. You know what I mean?
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
That's what I think.
So let's tell us what you have coming up in like the immediate future.
Immediately, next week, I'm going to film ComicView with some more. They're filming it in. They're bringing back ComicView on BET. I'm going to do a set for them in Atlanta. Then I'm going on tour with Monique to open up and do some dates with her. I start writing on this show for FX with Kelsey and Martin on the 15th of August. Then I'm about to start shooting some. I guess I'm gonna call them videos. I do these vlogs. I used to do these vlogs on the internet that became really popular, called Life with Dave. And we're about to take them and we're about to shoot them in story format. You know what I mean? Like we're actually about to act them out. Some of the things that I normally just rant about. So I'm about to start doing that, and that's it. That's enough right now. You know, that's it. I'm going on tour. I'm going to film in August. I'm going to film Shaq All-Star Comedy Tour. I'm doing that. Okay. So I'm going to film the DVD with them in I think it's October 30. I don't know, August 31st or October 31st, one or the other, whatever holiday is coming up around there.
That's when you call the assistant. Be like, hey,
yeah. What's the holiday? Don't we have a holiday coming up like Labor Day?
Labor Day.
When is that?
That's I want to say it's the 30th.
Okay, so that weekend.
That's what I want to say.
That
Don't quote
weekend
me.
we'll be in Vegas doing this DVD.
And
with
because
my
you
guests.
have a special that you're going to be doing, right? You're just
Yes,
taping an hour special?
yes, I'm working on my material. Because I'm gonna do an hour special. My last one I did is on. You can get it on Amazon. It's called "I've Never Heard of You Either." Is the DVD that I did. I actually sold 10,000 of those units off my website alone, and all my specials that I've done thus far have been independently produced and done by me. This one that we're doing, we're looking to take it to Netflix.
Okay.
So I'm working on my material for that. This one is gonna be called "I'm Trying to Help You." Okay. So just staying the course and enjoying, this gift that I've been given.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for coming and sitting down. And so where can your fans find you online?
At David A. Arnold, Twitter, at David A. Arnold, the David A. Arnold, Instagram. I'm everywhere, man.
Perfect.
Very easy to find. Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you.
I'm looking forward. Now I'm working with you.
Yeah, see?
And I'm working with him at Lovitz on the 15th of September.
August 11th.
August.
No. You're doing
15th.
Yeah,
15th?
you're doing the 15th. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tweet.
15th.
Find the tweets. He's
I'll be there.
coming out. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, you can find me all over the internet at the Nick Perdue.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Speaking, Dario Kristen, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network. If you have questions or comments, tweet us at BHL Online or email us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. For more exclusive content, visit blackhollywoodlive.com. This has been a presentation of the Black Hollywood Live Network.
Hollywood redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.